Hello and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adnan Iqbal. I welcome all of you. And in this video, we are going to talk about an experiment from the physiology lab, which is to determine the erythrocyte sedimentation rate of the given sample. So, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, which is also known as the ESR, it is one of the most worthless tests and yet one of the most commonly ordered tests for finding out the inflammation and infection in our body. And why it is worthless? Because it won't be able to find out which body organ or the tissue the inflammation is going on in our body. So this test is not much worthy. So your blood consists of the plasma and the cells. The plasma are 55% of the blood and the cells are 45% of the blood. And in the cells we have the red blood cells, which are also known as the erythrocyte, white blood cells and the platelets. And in the red blood cells are the most abundant one. Their quantity are in millions. And the plasma we have water and proteins, and the water is 5% of the total body weight. So for example, if the person weight is 60 kilogram, so the 5% of the 60 kilogram is 3 liter. And cells, which are 45% of the blood, they make up 2 liter of the 60 kilogram. So 3 liter plasma and 2 liter cells, they make up 5 liter. So the average volume of the blood of the adult is 5 liter. So in the plasma we also have proteins, and in the proteins we have albumins, which are the small proteins in the blood, but they are numerous and they are responsible for maintaining the oncotic pressure in the blood. And the globulins like the IgM or the IgG, they are the large proteins, but they are less numerous as compared to the albumin. So the principle is, when the blood is left alone in a vertical test tube, it sediments because of the gravity. So if we take the deoxygenated blood from the vein and put it into the Westergren tube along with an anticoagulant, then the red blood cells and the white blood cells which are present in the blood, they will sediment or settle at the bottom. And as you know, the red blood cells are found in millions in the blood, so the red blood cells will occupy much space, and the white blood cells and the platelets, which are found in less amount as compared to the red blood cells, so they will settle above the red blood cells as a very light thin layer, and at the top the plasma will occupy the space as a clear liquid. So what is erythrocyte sedimentation rate? Erythrocyte sedimentation rate is the rate at which the erythrocytes or the red blood cells settle or sediment at the bottom. And in physics you have studied that a rate is change in length or distance with a change in the time. So for example, if we take the blood into the tube and after 1 hour, you know that the RBCs will sediment or settle at the bottom. And if with the ruler we will measure that what is the length or the distance of the settlement of the RBCs in 1 hour, that is known as the erythrocyte sedimentation rate. So for example, the length or the distance of the RBCs which settle at the bottom in 1 hour is 5 millimeter. So the 5 millimeter in 1 hour is the erythrocyte sedimentation rate. And today the erythrocyte sedimentation rate is performed in labs by the automated analyzer, so you can leave the ruler at home. So as time passes, the sedimentation increases, but the rate of sedimentation remains the same. So for example, if you take the blood at time 0 in the test tube, at different time periods the sedimentation increases, but the rate of the sedimentation remains the same. How? So for example, at 30-minute time period, the length of the RBC sedimentation or the settlement is 10 millimeter. So to find out the rate, the formula is, you know that the formula of the rate is change in distance or length with the change in the time. So the formula is length divided by time. So the length of the RBC settlement in 30 minutes, for example, is 10 millimeter, and if you divide with the time of 30 minutes, which is 0.5 hour, so you will get the rate of 20. And in 1 hour, you know that the length of the sedimentation is 20 millimeter, and if you put in the formula of the rate, the length which is 20 millimeter with the time 1 hour, so we also get the same rate of 20. So at 30-minute time period you are getting the rate of 20, and at 1 hour time period you are still getting the rate of 20. So the rate remains the same, but the sedimentation at the time period of 30 minutes is 10 millimeter, which increased to 20 milliliter in 1 hour. So sedimentation is increasing, but the rate remains the same, which is 20 milliliter. So it proves that as the time passes, the sedimentation increases, but the rate of sedimentation remains the same. So there are three stages of the sedimentation. First, the RBCs in the blood, they stack or pile up on each other, and the stacking or the piling up of the RBCs on each other is known as the Rolex formation. So after the Rolex formation, there will be a settling of the RBCs, and after the settling of the RBCs pack at the bottom of the test tube. So the ESR value changes with the gender and with the age, and with the advancing age, the ESR value increases. Also, the woman has slightly more ESR value as compared to the men. So the men who are less than 50 years old, their ESR value is equal or smaller than 15 millimeter per hour. And if the women who are younger than 50 years old, their ESR value is equal or less than 20 milliliter per hour. For the men who are uh, older than 50 years old, their ESR value is equal or smaller than 20 milliliter per hour, and for the women who are older than 50 years old, their ESR value is smaller or equal to 30 milliliter per hour. So the factors that affect the sedimentation, there are the pro-sedimentation factor, which increases the sedimentation and increase the ESR, and there are anti-sedimentation factor, which decreases the sedimentation and decreases the ESR. So the pro-sedimentation factors are the fibrinogens and the immunoglobulins. So any plasma proteins will increase the sedimentation or increases the ESR. Why? Because the presence of the plasma protein in the blood will increase the Rolex or the stacking or the piling up of the RBCs on each other. So that will definitely then increase the ESR. And what are the anti-sedimentation vector which decreases the sedimentation or decrease the ESR? These are the negative charges on the surface of the red blood cells. So the red blood cells surfaces are negatively charged. So because of the negative charge of the red blood cells, they will repel each other. So there will be a decrease in the stacking or the piling up of the RBCs on each other. So when there will be the decrease in the stacking or the piling up of the RBCs on each other, so then there will be the decrease in sedimentation and decrease in the ESR formation. So the conditions which affect the ESR, there are some conditions which can increase the ESR value, and there are some conditions or diseases which can decrease the ESR value. So the conditions in which the ESR value increases, the most important one are the inflammation and the infection. And in the inflammation and the infection, there is an increase in the concentration of the fibrinogen and the immunoglobulin in the blood. So because of the increased concentration of these plasma protein in the blood, there will be the increase in the ESR value. In the case of the anemia, there will be the decrease in the number of the red blood cells, and because of that, there will be the decrease in the negative charges of the red blood cells, and there will be the more stacking or the piling of the RBCs to each other because of the less negative charge, so the ESR value increases. In the case of the macrocytosis, in which the uh, volume of the RBCs increases, so because of the increased volume of the RBCs, the RBCs will stack or pile up more on each other, so because of that, the ESR value increases. In the case of the multiple myeloma, there will be the increase in the plasma protein in the blood. So because of the increased plasma protein, the ESR value increases. In the case of the Waldenstrom macroglobulinemia, there will be the same principle applied, that there will be an increase in the plasma protein in the blood. So because of the increased plasma protein in the blood, that will increase the ESR value. So any condition or disease which increases the plasma protein in the blood, definitely then the ESR value will go higher. In the case of the pregnancy, because of the dilutional anemia, uh, there will be the decrease in the number of red blood cells, so less negative charge, more stacking of the piling up of the RBCs on each other, so there will be the more ESR value. Conditions which decreases the ESR value, the hyperviscosity syndrome, which makes the blood viscous, like the increase in the number of the red blood cells. So there will be, if there are more number of red blood cells, then definitely there will be the more negative charge. So the RBCs will repel each other. So there will be the decreased stacking up or the piling up of the RBCs on each other. So there will be the decrease in the ESR value. In the case of the polycythemia is a condition in which the red blood cells increase in amount. So therefore, there will be the increase in the negative charge. So the ESR value will decreases. In the case of the sickle cell, the shape of the RBCs become sickle shaped, and because of that sickle shaped, there will be the decrease in the ESR value. In the case of the microcytosis, in which volume of the RBCs becomes smaller, so because of that, there will be the decrease in the stacking up or the piling up of the RBC, so there will be the decrease in the ESR. In the case of the spherocytosis, in which the shape of the RBCs becomes spherical, and because of that, there will be the decrease in the Rolex formation, and the ESR value will decreases. So some clinical take-home points. ESR is very important to rule out giant cell arteritis, and giant cell arteritis is the most common form of the vasculitis that occurs in the adults, and it causes the headaches, joint pain, facial pain, and difficulties with the vision, and sometimes permanent visual loss in one or both eyes. So if any person is coming to you with the joint pain, facial pain, or the fever, and you do the blood test, and in the blood test the ESR value increases, definitely the person has a giant cell arteritis, and you can save the person vision by giving the corticosteroid. So but if the person is coming to you with the joint pain, facial pain, and their ESR value is normal, then that person is not having any giant cell arteritis. So the ESR value is very important to rule out the giant cell arteritis, and you can save the patient vision, because in the case of the giant cell arteritis, the patient vision become permanently damaged in a few hours. Also, in the case of the sickle cell disease, in the cell disease, I've told you that the ESR value decreases, but that applies only to the asymptomatic sickle cell disease patient. In the case of the painful crisis in the sickle cell disease, because there will be an increase in the inflammation, because of the increase in inflammation, there will be increase in the amount of the fibrinogen in the blood, so there will be the more ESR value. And if there will be the normal ESR value, then there will be no sickle cell in the blood. ESR and the CRP is a C-reactive protein test, which is also done to find out the inflammation in the body. So C-reactive protein is also elevated in case of the inflammation. So ESR and the CRP both love each other, so they both elevated in the case of inflammation. ESR start to rise 24 to 48 hours after the onset of the inflammation, and ESR elevation is one of the minor criteria in diagnosis of the rheumatic fever, because the rheumatic fever is also a kind of infection and inflammation is going on. So it is a minor criteria in ruling out in diagnosing the rheumatic fever.
ESR, erythrocyte sedimentation rate. This is the experiment to determine the rate of sedimentation of erythrocytes. This is the Westergen's pipette. It is 300 mm long from top to bottom. In this experiment, fill the blood up to 0 mark and put it into the Westergen stand. And after 1 hour, observe the rate of sedimentation of erythrocytes. This is the one method of measurement of ESR. There is also another method of measuring the ESR by the help of Winthrop tube. Fill the blood in the Winthrop tube up to 0 mark with the help of Pasteur pipette or syringe, same as in PCV, and then put it into the Winthrop stand for an hour. After 1 hour, observe the settlement of RBC. Observe the reading from 0 to 10, that is from upper side to lower side.